Yep, I'm here. I'd like to welcome our next presenter, Leon Elcock. Leon will be providing us with an introduction to synthetic biology and its application as another solution to a more sustainable future. Leon? Leon,
Hi,
are you?
yeah, I'm here. Am I able to share screen, or can we put my presentation up?
You should be able to share your screen, right, Sean?
Yep, go for it now. Sorry, Leon. There we go.
So I'm here to talk about synthetic biology. So an introduction to me, I got my bachelor's in applied molecular biology and biotechnology from the University of Delaware. We were actually the first graduating class from this program. Basically, it equipped us with hard technical lab skills in order to prepare us for a full year internship for our senior years. After that, I got my master's in biotech entrepreneurship and enterprise from Johns Hopkins. Mainly, I was motivated to learn more about how we could actually get our technologies and research from the lab to actually affecting people's lives. And after gaining that exposure to the more commercial aspects, it prompted me to apply to, and then I ended up getting a public policy fellowship with Ginkgo Bioworks. And during that, I researched strategies for biotech companies or SB companies to have a better community impact as they grow. And currently, research assistant with Interius Biotherapeutics, which is working on an advanced cancer therapeutic. So what is synthetic biology? Basically, synthetic biology, or SB, is the application of engineering principles to biological systems. As you can see from the graph on the slide, the cost to read and write DNA has dramatically decreased over the years. And this has enabled us to convert biology into a technology. And to compare to computing, it's very similar to the punch card era of computing, which would be like approximately like the 70s or like 80s. So for some examples, to go back to Ginkgo Bioworks as an example, they're really like the prototypical SB company. They encompass every sector. Basically, they partner with other companies to help create custom organisms to help produce whatever they're making. So some of their related parties are Alonia, which is developing solutions to waste. In various industries, Concentric, which was a COVID-19 testing initiative that helped with like 12 million, which is like approximately like a fifth of the students in the US, as well as ExpressCheck for air travel. And then there's also Join, which is with Leaps by Bayer. And basically, they have taken a naturally occurring microbe that is on the roots of certain cereal crops, and they're engineered it so that it will fix nitrogen just from the air. And like they have more, and like they have some food, materials, like basically like everything like the physical world. So for another big impact is for biosecurity. So if you think vaccines, mRNA vaccines are a product of SB. And specifically Moderna's vaccine is, Ginkgo actually had a partnership with Moderna to help produce a cell to help create some of the components for their vaccine. And they're expanding it to HIV, multiple types of cancers, malarias. There's like a lot of work being done in this area. And then another one that I think is really important is wastewater analytics. And the BioBot Analytics is the main company. They basically, when you are infected with the virus for COVID-19, there will be copies of the like DNA or RNA that is expelled in your waste. And you can tell from analyzing that water, and it will give you a better indication of the spread throughout the population in comparison to looking via cases or like hospitalizations, which are all lagging indicators. And it's used for COVID-19 right now, but since they built out this like technology, it can be expanded to multiple different disease types as well as environmental pollutions. Basically anything that there would be like nucleic acids involved. So you can think like algal stuff or like different types of bacteria. Somewhere something's not where it's supposed to be, that you can tell with wastewater analytics. For conservation, this part can get kind of controversial since it's more of letting stuff out into the world. So yeah, Colossal, so that was created in partnership with this nonprofit Revive and Restore, which these two organizations are really pushing to try to bring the extinction and develop it as a like feasible technology. So right now, the idea with these woolly mammoths is in partnership with a plot of land in Siberia called Pliocene Park. And the idea is as the climate changes, the environment there will more accurately represent the climates that mammoths existed in. And the idea is bringing them back. They could be a keystone to help regenerate forests in those areas. Another one is gene drives. You can actually learn more about this through a documentary on Netflix called Unnatural Selection, where there's a professor at MIT, Kevin Esvelt, in the Engineering Evolution Lab in the MIT Media Lab, and he is in the doc. They like describes various different use cases. Some of these are like they would do the gene drive to make all the mosquitoes, like male mosquitoes, sterile in order to like wipe out the population in a specific region. And they've also considered trying this out to control other species like rodents on islands where they're like invasive and killing off the native populations, like en masse. So there's also another use is to help species adapt to the changing climate, or invasive species such as the American chestnut, where there's several projects to introduce resistance to blight and while also maintaining the genetic integrity rather than like crossbreeding it with another species of chestnut trees, which would change the genetics to the point where at a genetic level, it's no longer American chestnut. It would be like this new hybrid, which like if that works, it could save like numerous other tree species and other plant species like around the world. So yeah, so this Cyan-collar jobs, this is a concept that I came up with during my public policy fellowship. Basically, people with these jobs make bio-based products in industries transitioning away from extraction. And this use of extraction is expansive. So we're meaning like extraction from like communities as well as the environment. And it's really in response to the underdeveloped education outreach infrastructure in this space. The fact that not really many people know about it. So I think the best thing for that companies could do would be to grow community gardens, the talent that would help the whole industry grow, and it would enable a just transition as the old industries and waste in manufacturing products get displaced by these new technologies. We can better help those workers transition into these jobs. And I like wrote a whole handbook about this. It's almost a whole different presentation in and of itself to really go into detail about this. But yeah, I will show what it's like. So the SB Community Garden for New Jersey. This is something I've just been working on like by myself. And like rather than like a whole company like supporting me do this. So it's been working through these three nonprofits who are the main heavy hitting educational nonprofits for the SB. So BioBuilders, they actually create SB curricula for high school science classes, and they help with like teacher professional development. They have multiple programs. So my students at Toms River, we took part in the Idea Accelerator program. This program, they don't actually get to do any lab work to create the systems, but they got to ideate projects. So Team Rubber Duckies, their project revolved around recycling rubber, and they really, in their research, they discovered that there's like a ton of rubber tires in New Jersey that are just like unusable. So they like designed a system that would have a bacteria break down that rubber and turn it back into rubber sap so it can be reused for different products. The Team BADK builders, their project involved a bacteria that it's E. coli that would detect an algal toxin and consume it. And once it's consumed, the E. coli would turn red, and enabling you to use this E. coli in order to be like a detector for the algal toxin using the visual indicator. And then Team Gray, their system involved ammonia detection, purification, and they designed another like E. coli to detect ammonia, and it breaks down those ammonia molecules and turns them into phenolin. So it will emit the smell of vanilla if it's working to absorb and purify ammonia from the air. So other work that I help with is with the biodesign challenge, which these competitions revolve more around synthetic biology, art, and design. So the University City Science Center, Ola Future, which is the design group in Berlin, Germany, and Paul Robeson High School, which is like a Philly high school. I helped them make their project called "There's Pro-Human and Clean Water for Our Future." Pro-Human was basically psychobiotic treats that basically it's like a probiotic for the gut microbes in your stomach. And the idea is you could eat this stuff and it would make your gut microbes produce chemicals that make you feel happy. And the idea was it would be a social critique of how there's like a lot of prejudice and kind of creating a cure through a pill, and just really trying to raise the question, like, is this something that we can actually fix using pills? And it's like, there will be different schools of thought for that. I personally don't think so, but but they actually ended up being like a finalist in the competition. The other one, Clean Water for Future, their project revolved around a speculative nonprofit that would send packages of engineered cyanobacteria that could be used to clean out heavy metals and other pollutants from contaminated water. And then there would be like another like kit of the bacteria to help clean out that bacteria so you could finally get clean water after the two-step treatment. And they went so far as to design educational programs and custom built photo bioreactors, which are basically just like light reactors to farm the bacteria. Yeah, so those two previous things were both they just design the project but don't actually do the full work to create the organisms and like their ideas. But this one, the International Genetically Engineered Machine Competition, they actually do get to go and design these things and build it like with their hands. So it's actually like the premier synthetic biology competition. And there's startups every year. So it's been around for like 15 years, and there's like approximately 10 startups every year. Ginkgo Bioworks was one of them, and they went public like last year. I would say all the founders helped start this competition when they were grad students, and 20 years later, their project ended up being like a multi-billion-dollar company. So there's like huge prospect for the students that take part in this competition. So right now we are working with 2 community biolabs, one being GenSpace in Brooklyn, the other one being the Baltimore Underground Science Space, bugs. And then Toms River, it's just like the 3 students and then me. We don't really have like a lab or anything besides the school. But yeah, we're currently brainstorming for projects, and it's going to be up to the students, but I'm really pushing for like a One Health focused project so we can really tackle like environmental, social, and like economic growth and development with this work. And yeah, that's all I had.
That is so excellent, Leon. Thank you so much for sharing this information. I'm sure most of the people on this call had no idea this type of work was going on and how it can possibly be used to help us with a more sustainable future.